Alright, video game fans. I want to change of pace. I've been doing some board games, and I want to do some other little video games while I'm at it too, before I go back to doing a little more Battletech. Mini Metro, chill little railroad subway interconnection game. It's supposed to be super chill, but like most super chill games, it turns into a stressful nightmare. Um, I would love. Let me see where my last city was. Oh, this is actually interesting. This is active, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't even. This is still an active game. So in Mini Metro, as you can see, there's different colored lines that I've connected up within this little map. Um, there's no real designation for anything in this game. It's just what people intuit what the locations are. No, I did complete this because I shouldn't be getting these. Stop the. I'll explain a little thing. I don't even know if this is even maxed out. I don't think it is. It's not very dense. So Mini Metro, you start off with a few locations. It's usually they start you off with a triangle, a circle, and a square. I think every game starts off with a triangle, a circle, and a square. Um, and there's various sources online that try to diagnose what all these are, but essentially the square I think represents like the downtown business district, high rises. This is a place where everybody in the city works but nobody really lives there. um, Office buildings and that kind of thing. It's there may be more than one square on your map, but on a lot of maps like this one here has only got one square. So obviously it is the hub, if you will. The circle locations are generally accepted to be like residential areas. These are because this is a city. There might be like suburban subway stations, but most of them are probably a lot of apartment buildings, fairly dense residential districts. This is where people live, but don't work. So it's usually a source of passengers. Sources of passengers will come up and they'll have a little symbol on it. This is where they want. There's two passengers here, one that wants to go to a triangle and one that wants to go to a square. There's none here that are ready to go, and there's one here that has a square. And you'll notice there's different ones around the map. These are the three basic starting ones. The triangle, there's a little more debate about what that is. Um, Maybe it's industrial areas where there's like factories or plants or other types of like large industrial workforce, because they tend not to be too close to the center of the town, but they're in these like wider areas in between, and you don't find them out on the fringes either. I That's probably what they are, but I'm not certain. But they're definitely a work location. Um, as you play, though, some other ones will unlock. Usually, after a location has been a circle or a square or usually a circle or a triangle, it'll all of a sudden change the shape, and it'll become one of these other symbols that are unique. I haven't seen more than one of these on a map ever. Um, this little shape here, this little football shape, a general acceptance is this is some kind of a sports arena, a football stadium, or some other kind of a big venue. It has to be related to a specific sport because these kinds of cities generally have more than one sports arena, but that's definitely a football shape. So that one's pretty well recognized. The diamond, or the what is the I guess it's a diamond shape. Not sure what it could be. It could be another sport venue. It could be some other point of interest. It could be a tourism area. It could just be a well-to-do area. It could be like your Beverly Hills type of thing. Maybe this is where the wealthy people in the area live. I don't know. Again, this is all just debate. But if you want to play into it, some of the the people like to figure out what do these things really mean. You'd have to ask a dev if they mean anything. There's a star. I think that the star probably it could mean something like movie or TV studio type of thing. It could be a point of interest, a major tourism center, something that's everybody wants to look at. Maybe it's a natural feature, or it could be something built there. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to where it gets placed on the map, so who knows what it is. But it's a star, so you think that that's something pretty celebratory. This like gemstone cut one. I don't know. Is this the Diamond District? Is this like high end merchandise is found here? Is this like where the rich people spend their money? It's a place where people would work, but it's also a place where people shop. Some people think that's what the triangles are as well. Like this is a like instead of an industrial district, maybe these are like shopping and retail districts. Like large retail areas or towers or places where people both work and spend money. It's where they go out to eat. It's where they do other business except for punching a clock or working in an office. Who knows? What else do we got on the map here? We got the little pie-shaped one. I'm not exactly sure what that references. There's another symbol that I don't have on this map because it hasn't advanced far enough, and that's a little pentagon because it looks like the United States Pentagon, the military intelligence center. People like to think, well, that's probably either a military base or again some kind of a place where people would be employed at a government. Maybe it's a government institution. Who knows? But anyway, you're going to start the game with a few tracks and some trains, and you're going to connect them up, and it's going to have a nice little chill sound effect. And then things are going to get hairier, and new locations are going to pop on the map, and you're going to decide to rearrange your tracks as you go. Tracks kind of come into two different types. There's your single line tracks, which have a termination point at both ends. So your trains will constantly go back and forth along them. And if you decide that maybe this isn't the most efficient way to go, you could close it off by bringing the termination point back to the original point, and then you have basically a loop. I like to have a loop in certain high density areas. See, this is a fairly small loop, but I like to have trains going in both directions. That way, you're always getting passengers being picked up in crisscrossing directions to make sure they're most efficient. Um, as you can see here, I have this green line that goes up here, and I have a red line that goes down here. I could, if I really wanted to, delete one of these and make the one line just one long loop. The disadvantage of that is that it takes a long time to get from where you're going to where you want to go. As you play, there's other little bonus things that come up. One of them is an extra carriage. So if you look at this one here, I'm going to unpause it. That's actually got two cars on it. That's one that's been given an extra carriage. Most of these, they're always going to start off with one. Most maps, a single car can carry 6 passengers. There are a few maps where they only carry 4. There are some maps that have high speed instead of the like slow pokey trains. They have like a high speed one that zips around a lot faster. Each city is a little different. They do a pretty good job of kind of mixing it up. The different cities all have different. This is all randomly generated. If you were to play this city 10 times, you're going to get 10 different maps. They have certain similarities, but they're going to be different. They're designed to have certain like water inlets, or some of them are designed to have an island. But as far as how it looks, it's going to look different every time. How the things come out is going to be different every time. I'm going to jump into it now. I've explained it all using one of my old games, and now I'm going to basically delete it by starting a new one. Let's go back out to the main menu. So, right now, there are a lot of maps, and these are all around the world. Some of them have different colors, like Cairo's and desert, so they put a nice little yellow background. You can play these on both day and night mode. The day mode looks like this. Everything is bright. Night mode basically turns everything that's white, or in the case of this, yellow, into a darker tone. It's not quite black. It's like a really dark gray. I'm not exactly sure what Cairo looks like at night. Um, it depends on if it's easier on your eyes. I don't particularly care one way or the other. I find either one of them gets to be a little monotonous at a certain point. Some maps have rivers of different varieties. Other ones have large bodies of water, possibly even lakes or an ocean side. That's interesting. Um, but this isn't the map you're going to see. It's going to look something similar, but it's not going to be that exact map. This is just kind of giving you a rough idea of what this particular location looks like. Like this one's supposed to have a river in it, or a stream of some kind that you're going to have to navigate. They're not bridges; they're called tunnels in this game. You have tunnels that go from one side of a water area to another. All right, what do you guys think? Want to play New York? We'll play New York. Never been myself, but it's an interesting one. My best, I'm gonna fly in my face. Best score for me is only 12-15. I am not particularly great at this game. I've never scored very highly, but I enjoy it. So we'll go ahead and play this in the standard mode. So here's our location. Here's our little here's our little train. Our little subway system. It takes a little bit to kind of get it off the ground. Oh, it's kind of going up. Let's see. That's fine. I'm going to speed it up a little bit and pause it as needed. That's all this is. And see, now this is where it gets interesting. Because this feels more like that's one line and that's a second line, and I'm kind of doing double duty using one. And I don't really want to take this all the way over here, so we're gonna there. Okay, now we don't get to do that. Now we're gonna do this. Now obviously in the real world you wouldn't be able to do this. Well, there is a more challenging mode. Once you build a track, you can't edit it. You can't change it and move it around. But to me, that takes away almost all the fun in this game, because it's like you don't have any flexibility at all. Because the second you get something built, then all of a sudden they drop something here, and you're like, well, crap, I don't have another train, another line. So every time you go up, to get to the end of the week, you get to Sunday, you're going to get a new locomotive, and then you're going to get your choice of one of two other things. Right now we have access to we can build 3 lines. This would give us our 4th line, or we can have 2 more bridges. Now here's the thing, I haven't even started building a 3rd one, and now do I really need a 4th one? I'm down to my last bridge. This time they're actually called bridges. Most of the ones that have rivers have tunnels, but in this one they're actually bridges. Getting 2 more bridges is probably pretty good, because we're dealing with Manhattan here, and there's going to be a lot of coming and going across the rivers. So yeah, we're going to take the bridges. Now I have 2 decisions, or 1 decision to make on this particular line. Either this is going to get hairy and I'm going to chop this into 2 different parts, or I'm going to tie this together and make it one loop. You don't really want a loop that crosses the rivers, because that means this one line is using 2 bridges. And I can tell there's a new one's going to be, a new location is going to come down here, and that's going to mess me up too. You don't want loops to be too big, especially early in the game. I'm going to close this off as a loop. I'm going to put a second train going the other direction. And then I'm going to create a 3rd line with this one, I think. Hopefully this doesn't cause too many issues. I'll do the same kind of thing. Swear to God, I'm going to kill this fly. It just keeps flying in my face. Okay. Good. This is a good extension. Some games that I've played on the higher, I don't know if they're exactly higher levels or not, get to be monotonous when there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles in a row. You're never going to get a passenger who is from, like, let's say, a circle location that wants to go to a circle location. They want to go someplace else. So if you get too many of the same symbols in a row, sometimes you get a string of circles, sometimes it's a string of triangles. They're not very convenient to have them in a row. Having a circle on each side of a triangle, this is great. Look at this. Circle, square, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. It makes it increases the odds that you're going to be able to pick up a passenger here and drop them off here. And if they're not going to stop there, then they're going to definitely stop here because the next one's a circle and there aren't going to be any circles coming from a circle location. You might pick some up here, but you're not going to pick any up here for delivery. So this is really nice. This, on the other hand, creates more problems because I just built my third line. Let's see. How am I going to fix this? I could just extend this up, and we'll see what we got from there. It's not really what I want, but let's see how this goes for a little bit. Oh, we got another hub. That's interesting. That's very interesting. It's not that big a deal right now until a passenger pops up there, and passengers don't usually pop up in squares. It's a destination more than creating passengers from it. But, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, a star just popped in. Right on our existing line, so that's interesting. Okay, so this brings up another line or a carriage. Oh, this time I want the line. Actually, the carriage might be useful too, but I need another line. So, here's another little interesting little tidbit. There's a star on the red circuit, but they're not on the purple or the green circuit. You could have a passenger pop up on this triangle that says, I want to go to the star. They will be taken and dropped off at this square. Now, see, this green is already carrying one that for some reason must have automatically just altered to create a star. He's going to get dropped off here and wait until he gets picked up by one of the cars that can actually deliver it. Oh, interesting. Okay, I think I'm gonna redo the purple line to this. That works for me. Kind of want some circles out here, but if I need a circle out here, that's not where it's going to come in. Ploop. Perfect. Keeps us on every other path. At some point, I'm going to have to start adding multiple cars on here. A track can only hold 6 cars, I'm thinking. There we go. I told you I wanted a circle, and I got it. I'm probably going to pull that to there. It's nice to have a triangle destination and going in both directions. That way, the cars can pick up passengers that want to go to triangles no matter which direction they're going. Yeah, I'm going to put a second car on this too. Because it's long enough. This one's only got 4 stops. This one's getting kind of gangly. Oop, speak of the devil. Another new car. Okay, now we have an interchange. An interchange is essentially it's a big station where passengers don't mind waiting a little longer, so they tend to get backed up a little bit more. But technically, an interchange is a spot where, like this square here, passengers might be dropped off by one train to be picked up by another train. But for whatever reason, you want to put these in areas that can kind of hold volume. I'm not exactly sure I'm ready for that because it's not that busy quite yet. I'm still wanting more lines. So I'm going to take the line because the line can take more weight than the individual. Whoops. Let's see. I got two extra lines to work with here. I'm just making this green one worse by doing that. But if I can fix some things, because I got 2 lines that haven't even started yet. I'd rather they'd be like spur related. Okay, that doesn't need to be connected then. Yeah, I got one of them. Okay, what I'm kind of interested in now is... this isn't good. This isn't good at all. I kind of want some stuff to pop in up here, because I want to... oh, I have been very fortuitous here. I want to trim back the red line some, and I want to create a new line across the top here. Yeah, I am. I'm going to take those 2 off of that line, making this one a little more efficient. These are probably going to, throughout the game, there's going to hit certain days of the week. In addition to adding new spots and changing some of the existing spots, one of the other things that gets altered in the game is all of a sudden a particular location is going to start generating a lot more people. Think of it as the population is growing, or new buildings, new high rises, new jobs, whatever are available at certain locations. So all of a sudden there becomes an influx. The down heart of your area is the most likely spot for these to start upping really fast. So you kind of want to have as few of long. You don't want to have these very long circuits. You want to keep the circuits fairly tight. And because this one's already got a square, and that's got its square, I think a new line here would be okay. It could also deal with any kind of expansion out here or up here. And if I had another bridge, I'd take it across the river on the other side too, and kind of create a network. In the end, you kind of want all of your lines to intersect somewhere. They don't necessarily all need to connect to the same locations, but it can be efficient to do that. If you saw my last map, you saw I had a one hub that had like 4 or 5 different colors coming out of it. It makes that central location very important. Let's see how I get this going. Oh, one other thing I could do with this. There is a slightly different. Oh, I can't really change it, so I'm not going to worry about it. There's a more full audio version which has a lot more dings and dongs, and this one, it's a lot more quiet. It's not the chill. If you just wanted to like chill out, you hear that little dong when that thing comes on. Well, imagine just a cacophony of dings and dongs going on, and little bings and bangs, and every time a passenger gets dropped off or picked up, it makes a little ding dong kind of sound. Okay, now that creates an issue. There we go. That's another symbol I didn't mention. The big cross. Obviously, that must be like a medical center or a major hospital. Let's see. We need more bridges. There's probably some symbol, not sure which. Some symbol probably means airport. Couldn't tell you which one it would be though. Maybe that's the pizza pie one. I have no idea. But you'd think a major airport would also need some kind of subway access. That would be a location people would need to go to. And I still got one line in the bank, so if something pops in a very weird place... See, I can already reevaluate this space over here. I could create a loop over here. Okay. I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that's an airplane? I don't think it is, but who knows. Blue is just running back and forth. I'm debating on whether I want to connect this up down here. It'd be nice to have a second. Since we got a couple of specialty ones up here, purple is it would be picking up a large portion of it. This way, red can also be dropped off here. I still gotta get something across this river, but green's not gonna do it. Instead of blue going across the river, green's gonna have to come across the river, which I could do. Just doing a little there, something that looks a little more lined up. But we're starting to see some people get backed up, which means these lines are a little long. I don't want it to get too crazy. I still have another line though. If I really wanted to, I can kind of tweak this. I need a carriage. This is getting. I should have picked up a carriage last time. We needed the bridges. Um, nuts. Ah, nuts. Purple's doing a good job. Purple's keeping its area pretty clean. Green's struggling though. These are building up and they're not getting picked up every time they come through. Those are squares. They need to be picked up, and they're not going to get dropped off until they get all the way back here, which means that's taking up 3 of the 6 seats. So only 3 of these are getting picked up, which means none of those are getting picked up. This is a problem. I want to create a new line over here, but I think I'm going to have to create. This is the 3 circle thing I mentioned before. This everybody needs to go somewhere, and they're not getting picked up. Shoot. I don't have enough trains, enough bridges to get red across. I might just have to do that for now. How am I going to fix this problem over here, though? I can't just trim that down to 3 or 4. That wouldn't make any sense. Shoot. There's no square. Square's more important than that location. Squares will be going in both directions. That would probably fix my problem. I'm probably going to have to throw an extra car on here for now, just to clean up what's there. I can always pull it off and stick it on another line later. So now I can build an orange line, but it won't have any cars. Oh, jeez, blue's struggling. Blue's struggling. Let's take that up there. Pull some of the again, that's a little location that's starting to blow up. Maybe it's just going up in population. I could throw an interchange on there. That would solve some of the problems, but I need some carriages. I think I need a carriage on purple. I need a carriage on green, but now I got 2 on there. I can wait a little bit. I need a carriage on blue too. Okay. I'm gonna wait till he gets over there. Alright. We're ending that. That's fine. Take that up to there. I'm gonna terminate all of this. Okay, and create an orange line. We'll touch there. Something's going to come in here at some point. But for now, hopefully that orange will be able to pick up some of the slack. It shortens green's line. Green's doing okay. They were really doing bad before. And okay, we got a bridge. Glad I did that just in the right time. I do need to be concerned about this. Connecting up. I don't want to extend orange anymore, but maybe I'll extend red over too. Extend red to there. And I will re-extend blue to that. That way, if if somebody pops in over here and wants to go to the hospital, let's say, they can just jump off on the blue line. It's okay to have multiple trains servicing the same station, especially these ones that tend to get clustered. Um, it means other people can kind of pick up the slack. This one, the problem is a lot of greens getting dropped off here, and they're not being picked up enough by blue. I'm gonna pull this purple train off and put it on the blue line because blue's getting a little underserviced until it gets a carriage. Purple's got a carriage. The carriage can carry twice as many, so well, it's 12 now, so it can pick up a lot more of that slack. As long as it's dropping them off at every other location, like it should be. Yeah, we still need another carriage. I need to get this on the blue line, one way or the other. So now I have an extra one on blue I can probably pull. Oh! This is a crazy line over here on green. This should be two different trains. I don't think I need the extra blue one in there, but we'll leave it for now. Make sure purple is still able to handle everything. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I really don't want to extend red anymore. Oh no, this isn't good. This is not good. That is a horrible looking line, isn't it? I have to extend red at least for a little bit, because everybody else is going to dump into red and they're going to have to make that delivery. Green can make its own deliveries if it needs to. And how is that one little orange car making that work? I guess this isn't real high population. Oh man! See, this is god awful. This is just an abyss of housing out here. That is okay. See, we're giving a warning. If too many passengers get there, or the ones that have been there too long, you'll get this little countdown timer that those people need to be picked up before that timer runs out, or it's game over. Locomotive line. That's gotta be what it's gotta be, because this line is really bad. And they can both service that location, but I had to do something. Had to do something to fix all that garbage. Yeah, that's a hot spot there. Told you, this inside area, this is where a lot of things are going to generate. This is horrible. It's still not going to get picked up. I can throw in a train in there as an emergency. We'll solve it for now. Great. This blue line's getting way too long. Orange has got way too big. It's going to have problems. It's got problems already. Still got one more line to create. Oh, are you kidding me? They gotta have a square. It's gotta be what it's gotta be. Let's see. They need a triangle though. That'll solve. Right now, these triangles are gonna get backed up if they don't have a place to relieve, and this is the only way they can go. Okay, I gotta take. Let's get this car There. And another triangle. Yep. I was looking over there. Didn't even see the one on that side. That's the way these games work. You get to a certain day and it's just everything's going to zoom up all at once. Not a great. But they do have these other little things you can do. If you really are enjoying your building, you can continue in endless mode or creative mode. In endless mode, they thin down so you can't lose the game. You're not going to get these endless build-ups and these build-ups with like 10 or 12, 15, whatever things. They'll kind of cap that. But they do have kind of objectives. You can, as you continue to play, if you reach certain milestones, certain like a number of passengers are getting delivered all at the same time, if you're like banking a lot of deliveries, then you'll get a little reward, kind of like what happens at the end of the week. You'll get to choose whether you have a new, you know, a new bridges or a new carriage or whatever. So it kind of gives you the feel of continuing to play, and it's still competitive, but you can't technically lose the game. That's why it's called endless. Creative mode is basically just you placing whatever you want. It allows you to basically, you know, it's no longer a challenge of a game at that point. You're just basically placing you have an infinite supply of whatever you want to build, and you're just building. I generally continue on in endless because I'm usually enjoying what I'm doing. So it'll thin out all these bad spots. Because I have so many milestones built up, I'm probably going to get a bunch of freebies here. So I'm getting 3 locomotives on the carriage. Bridges, my last line. All those are going to diminish. I already got another. And another. So now I can kind of fix some of the problems. So I could come in here, let's say, and crisscross something. I could put a line right straight through the middle of it. This is such a mess. I would not continue it because it's got way too many little screw ups. But yeah, this is Mini Metro. There are lots of different maps you saw on there. In addition to those, there are challenges. So when you start off, you don't have access to all these. You'll have access to London, and now they have new versions too. So I can play the regular original London or London 1960. They're generally pretty good about doing the little themes. Not every city has a multiple mode, but some of them they found some ways of doing it. 1937 in the pre-war Paris era. New York in New York 1972. I don't know if those are the only ones. There's got to be one for Tokyo. They do a pretty good job with the themes though, because some of them will have different kinds of, like some of them will have more stations of a certain type, or some of them will have um, a different kind of train, which I mentioned before. Uh, they'll have trains that can carry fewer or whatever. They have like slower moving trains or faster moving trains. Doesn't look like any of these have any. Some of these were just added too. And there's also community maps if you're interested in that. I also mentioned the different. Oh, there's modes. You can start off the game. Okay, here we are. So the normal mode is the one that I just showed you. Extreme doesn't let's see, don't let stations overcrowd. The tracks are permanent. So once you've placed a track and it's in its configuration, you can't change it. It's fixed. It's like you built the tunnel and the trains tracks are there. Now you have to deal with it. Those games tend to be very short for me. I already mentioned endless. They don't overcrowd, but you can build for efficiency and creative. You basically just play it the way you want. That's the different modes, but then there's also challenges. This one only has one, I guess. Daily challenge. I'll just take an example in this one. Competing in the daily challenge. No particular rules, just the city. Okay. This is Mini Metro, I guess. On their sister program, they have one for both. What is it? Weekly challenges as well as daily challenges, I believe. But this one just has daily. Uh, and you can compare yourself to, the rest of the people who have posted scores, and as you can see, my scores are usually not great. For me, this is just a chill little thing to try out and play every once in a while. That's Mini Metro. It's available on Steam. I don't know what its current price is. It's not much. It's kind of just this nice little indie game that I think most people has probably heard of that are active video gamers. But that's my playthrough of it.